So welcome, dearest Shakura.
Thank you.
Module 8, Shaman Soul School. You and I so far, so long, so far, so good. You're doing great. So the theme today is going to be embracing creativity and returning to authenticity. And this is all connected to the inner child also, our first and most creative place of all. So before we start the session, as usual, let's drop down into our breath and connect to our heart space a little bit, both of us. So if you wish, so touch your heart space and let's just breathe deeply for a few minutes together. That beautiful, that air to touch our hearts and to connect us to this beautiful magnetism and Mother Earth. And today in this session, we are going to call upon Mother Earth's creativity and call upon her gentle guidance and inspiration for us as humans and for all her creations so far. So welcome, Shakura, and the four directions are present with us as I opened them a session before, so our sacred space is secure, and you're just going to dig into this beautiful subject today, which really can be interesting and touch us all for the development and evolution of all human beings, nevertheless, you and I in this session. So firstly, we're going to speak a little bit about remembering the inner child and how that remembrance becomes a doorway to authentic self as adults. So we are born whole, and long before anybody in the world or the parents or the society told us how to behave, in childhood, we were these innocent creators. And we didn't care actually how we sounded, how we danced, and we colored on the streets without knowing what we did, and we called it beauty. So this first return to inner child is so important to us as adults, and it kind of becomes also our resurrection, this finding our authentic expression as adults. So the inner child is not the past. It can be explained like this present tense portal to authenticity. And it's kind of this child which never stopped looking or to come forth and always wanting to play, to imagine, to explore, and to feel. And many of us in our growth were told that this kind of creativity was only valuable if it was productive, if it could make some monets, if it was monetized, so, or for pleasing of others even. So that's what children do sometimes, also for fun, even though they don't know they're getting exploited. Well, they kind of like to please adults, and this in adult age shows it pleasing people as an adult life inner child won't. But the true medicine of this inner child creativity is this joy that we get out of it as adults, and when we begin to honor this, we reconnect with this curious part of us, and this curiosity can in a way say also to us, well, here I am, and I give you this field of, well, let me say, field of infinite possibilities, adult life. And to meet this inner child, we must listen without judgment or without agenda. And approach gently, really, to ourselves. No judgment at all, really purely, and being playful with ourselves, And, good questions to ask here ourselves when we try to reconnect to this inner child, and all in the context of seeking this authentic expression that we so often forget as adults, that we so often want to realize again and to reinvent ourselves, as some of us do many times in our lifetime. So we can ask these questions. What did I love to do when no one was watching while we were children? And this can kind of hone us into the focus area of what could be our authentic expression as adults as well. For example, second question that is good. What made me laugh until I forgot time? Then, what colors were my favorite? Or what kind of games did I invent, And these questions can connect us deeper to this remembrance. And this is something that we can journal, of course, and work on through longer period to come to the core, of our most authentic expression. So let me, for a good experiment here, ask you a few questions. Maybe it will also stir something in your soul, and you can think about it deeper afterwards the session. So, Shakura, what did your inner child love doing that you have forgotten now?
Skipping.
Cool.
I'm really laughing as well thinking about that. I used to really enjoy skipping and swinging. I had a swing in the back garden, and which my dad built for me, which I loved. My sister and I loved this swing, and I used to enjoy doing somersaults on it, as it was a handled chain. So I would kick myself up, very young, and do a somersault, and then poof, land on the seat. But remember to change my hands back, because otherwise it's like this,
Beautiful.
I have a memory of that just as I'm saying it now.
Beautiful. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful memory and
Yeah, it is.
vivid memory. Thank you for sharing. Well, let me allow myself one more question then. What messages did you receive as a child about your creativity?
I didn't get very good ones, I have to say.
Mm.
I think that's why I'm like I am, because I'm full of fun now. I'm making up for it. Yeah, messages, creativity. It's a bit like hard work, like coloring, sort of doing crayoning and coloring in after I've done a chore. It's that kind of there was a lot that went on actually to hamper my creativity.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing deeper, because this question has actually kind of like multiple directions, and this is what your answer is within is partially your inner child woundings can be connected to that your creative expressions and you seeking your creative expressions as a child was in a way kind of dampened, of your surroundings. So this is a way to understand more about us and what we are dealing with, so that we can really come down to this essential, authentic expression as adults, which is truly connected deeply to our inner child. Nevertheless, the woundings that we can heal, bring to light. So thank you so much for being honest with answers here. So in this part, we're going to talk a little bit about this healing and expressive freedom. And I like to say this is like from wound to wonder. And we can say in this connection that kind of like there is an artist in every person, in you and I and everybody. And if this artist is blocked, then it's showing or pointing at the wounded child. There's some wounds that have not been resolved. So we, in a way, we can say that we are not stopping to create because we are growing old. We are stopping to create because somebody told us in our life that we were not good enough, or we were too loud or too sensitive, or we were too silly, or whatever. When we made something creative, maybe, the way of looking at our creation was not correctly judged, and maybe we were said that, look at this way that you drew a horse, that's ridiculous, or whatever. And these things can hurt a child deeply, even though it sounds simple, but it can hurt. It can imprint itself on a child and kind of inhibit the future ways of expressing and this freedom of wanting to do it. And what's even more interesting, this is affecting us in the adult life. This can be so deep. So, healing of these creative wounds begins when we remember where they came from. This is why inner child work is important, and really digging deep into our memories and what may have caused some kind of blocks and blockages within our field, especially the creative expression. So these become internalized, and we need to find a way to bring them forth to the light. So healing the inner child in this way is like becoming a witness without judgment at all, and kind of like imagining sitting besides our younger self, and asking questions. What hurt you, or listening deeply. So using our creative side to, in a way, reparent ourselves, and rewrite these stories with our belief system. So you see, this would be like in our adult life, like painting the emotions that were shut down when we were children. So creativity in that way, we can say that it's a transformation in motion in all kinds of expressions. So to be creative is to be in constant motion, in a way, expressive motion. So that's very important for ourselves as human beings, to find a way to express ourselves individually. And psychologically, individuation, very important part of our psyche. And especially in our society, which is dominated by the masculine and by the violent. So this segment, we are going to talk about creativity as an energetic state. And let's say that state, we can call it a flow. So flow is a moment where our self-consciousness kind of dissolves. And we can call that a neutralization of our ego. And then the presence takes over, and time disappears in a way, and energy expands. And we're in the middle of this, flow. And this flow, creative flow, is moving through us. So scientifically, these flow states are marked by decreased activity, sometimes in certain parts of our brain. And sometimes our inner critic can appear as well. And this is all a chemical reactivity within our body and within our brain and hearts. So knowing this can help us understand what is going on with us, when we are going through these states where we are healing our inner selves, especially our inner wounds, and trying to connect this to this creative flow, which is actually like constant energy in motion. And we can say that creativity is like the top of the elevated emotions in a flow. To be creative is to be God, is to be godly, to be divine, And especially when we connect this to the conscious part of our brain. So spiritually, flow is like merging our soul with the source, so to say, and then create some kind of form or expression. So how do we get in this flow state most simply? Well, start doing something we enjoy. Ask ourselves, what is it that I enjoy most? Whether it be the most silly thing for somebody, if it gives meaning for ourselves, it's a beautiful thing. And that's what we should do. So kind of arrange some kind of sacredness around us, create sacred space, so to say. Just simply light a candle, play some good music, calm your breath, and focus yourself on what you're doing. And this can kind of bring forth our best expressions. It's in simplicity. It's just a practice. So we just allow things to happen, kind of allowing it to evolve. So Sakura, I want to ask you a few questions now, which connect also to these teachings that we've been through so far. Can you remember when was the last time that you lost track of time in creation?
When I was outside walking with Bella, our dog, I remember just really feeling a silence that was filled with absolutely everything. That sounds a contradiction in itself, doesn't it? But it was this silence. I noticed it, and it was recent. And I was out walking, and I just noticed everything about me and around me, the smell, the sight, hearing, feeling, touching, sensing. And I've done this before, but this was deeper. And I don't know how long I spent in it. I really lost track of time. So then, when I was out walking in nature, I just remember thinking how beautiful everything was. And especially when I looked up at the sky and I saw the sun, and I looked into it, and because I do look at the sun, not when it's like blazing, but and I saw all these different shapes in it and everything. So I don't know how long I was actually doing that. So then,
Beautiful.
recently,
So deep, and so descriptive. And I kind of found myself also in your light body imagining what you were going through. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I can see the timelessness of that moment, especially because you've been also connecting with the sun. Sun is our source in a way. Very connected. Thank you for sharing. One more question, please. So, what kind of activities invite your creative flow?
I enjoy painting. I started with pebbles in my 40s, really. I started in my 40s with pebbles. And when I started painting them, I could see that there was a landscape on them. And then from pebbles, I went to bigger stones, and there was also pictures on them, which I painted in. And then I did like canvas. I started painting. I've not been to art school. I was just painting from what I could feel. And I absolutely love it. And I've been blocked lately, or not lately now, because I've unblocked, but I've had a painting on the go for, wait for it, 8 years. But I'm doing it with a feather, So yes, I absolutely do love painting, and also free dance. Absolutely love free dance. Put my favorite music on and then just dance.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And that's such a beautiful way to express our feelings, emotions, and thoughts. And really, this is one of the best ways to bring this inner child forth to light, and to allow it just to be, and whatever happens. And as we mentioned, when we create, as long as it makes us happy, this moment of creation, that's what's important. Validation from the surroundings is another thing. It's important that we create something for our own wellness, and this makes us in a way whole. Thank you for sharing. So in this part, so it's about this, we can say, authentic embodiment, sound, movement, and how do we reclaim all this? together? How can we integrate all this content? So we can say, Shakura, that our body is a kind of like a canvas we can create on with. So our voice then becomes like a drum. Our authentic creativity is in that way never silent. It moves, it vibrates, it pulses everything. And when this energy becomes stagnant, so our creativity becomes stagnant as well. And that's why movement is important in this aspect. It kind of breaks the freeze. And we know that when we were children, we loved to move, to run around, and to even to, just to be, not thinking about where's the next station, just moving and being intentional with movement without knowing really what's the movement happening for. And this kind of reconnection to our adult selves, inner child, so important that we sometimes, even without sense or a purpose, allow ourselves to move around, dance around, just be and produce sounds and allow whatever happens to allow our bodies, inner, outer, to feel the healing and to feel the freedom of this inner child. So together, these things, they kind of can create a bridge back to ourselves, to this authentic expression. And if we then say, kind of allowing ourselves just to dance without choreography, sing without having any particular words, these are all things that would, in a way, stimulate our freedom and connection to this ultimate authentic expression that we are seeking and that our soul wants to express in a way. So I want to say that in our tradition, the fire shamans tradition, Kero tradition, movement and sound, they're also like sacred technologies, and they kind of realign ourselves, both our young selves, adult selves, and future selves. So we have come to a part where there's a few more reflective questions for you, which are really important for us to be able to hone in and focus on this birth of the authentic expression now, in this magical time present now. So the question here is for you, Shakura. Are there any resistances within yourself that you can feel, but you would love to express them more freely?
Yes, there are. I've learned throughout life to pace myself, and that's kind of like quite hard, 21st century living, to pace yourself, work, rest, and play in balance. It's still a work of art creating that. So I think I can overdo it sometimes, and then I can, because I'm tired, I have a resistance to what I'd like to do. Because my brain and my heart is saying you can do that, but my body is saying you've got to rest. So then I get in a resistance to that because I would like to do it, and my body's saying you can't at the moment, you need rest. So it's getting that balance between what my body's saying and what my heart is saying, and aligning them so that they match. And I'm still learning.
I see. Well, that's beautiful, because I think, as I sense, that actually your inner child is very much on the surface, and this is the pull between the inner child and the adult self, and a beautiful play among you two. So that's super beautiful, and that's so important for your healing and for your creative freedom. So, dearest, let's you and I now have a 4 or 5 minutes of a silent breath practice, and then we are going to enter this fire ceremony, which you will be leading for us as the last segment of our session. So I want to take you and I in 4 to 5 minutes of guided nervous system recalibration meditation. So please, let's connect to our hearts again and move our awareness only on our breath, and allow this breath to nourish and to touch our heart space. With each and every breath, remind ourselves how worthy we are. And also send all our compassion to that inner child of ours. Give it a hug. Embrace that inner child. And tell it to be free and to come out and play. And let it know that it's loved and cared for and never alone. Never ever alone. And let's allow all that healing and abundance to enter that inner child and to enter our light bodies and to merge together with us. Let that energy of innocence and creativity and authenticity be always a part of us. All right, thank you, Sakura, and I welcome you now into this part with fire ceremony where you will be leading us forth. Thank you. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. This is lovely to be able to lead and honor a fire ceremony from the Curio nations, the fire shaman nations of the Andes and different parts, I believe. So, have you got a candle going? Have you got your candle?
I do.
You do.
Of course.
Okay. So, I'd like to bring in the 4 directions very quickly because I realized you've been brought them in already previously, but just for myself, just really honoring the 4 directions. And I'd just like to bring in from the south, beautiful Mama Serpent, who keeps us grounded, who keeps us rooted. I'd like to bring her medicine forward in gratitude for it being there. Aho. I'd also like to invite the beautiful Jaguar medicine, the psyche seeing in the dark, glowing in the dark, knowing there's power there to transform. Thank you, beautiful Jaguar. Welcome. Aho. Next, I'd like to invite beautiful hummingbird of the north. The way this tiny, beautiful iridescent bird trusts and flies so far and so high for the sweetest nectar. Welcome, medicine now, aho. I'd also like to welcome in the eagle and the condor of the east, and welcome the new perspectives, the higher perspectives, the cosmos knowledge in wings of pure light. Welcome, aho. And also Mama Pacha, beautiful being in herself as we walk upon her, knowing that she speaks to us and is with us all the time. I'd like to say thank you in gratitude and welcome your medicine, aho. And then Father Sky, the beautiful all-knowing, all-presence, immortality, the place of the luminous ones. I'd like to say thank you for all the blessings and welcome the medicine now. Aho.
Aho.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anna.
Now I'd like to take a stick. Do you have a stick, or you have a stick?
Well, I have a piece of paper I can use instead of a stick. It's as well. My intention is going to go in a piece of a paper here.
All right. So basically, everything that you want to get rid of, dear Nicola, now is the time, and it's going to be magical. That you just say all what you want to say into this stick that no longer serves you, not for your highest and greatest good. It's time for it to go, and you just blow into your stick what you want to release. Any regrets, any attachments, any trauma, any dramas, guilt, shame. Confusion is a big one for me sometimes. Blowing a lot of confusion away. And knowing that that holy breath from us has gone to the stick in the traditional way that we've been shown. And then when you feel ready, it's time to take that to the flame and let it all burn away. It's no longer needed. Let the fire transform. Let the fire take away everything that's no longer needed, very, very carefully, very gently, watching it go, and having a sense of gratitude that it is going.
Absolutely.
And being willing to let it go, no longer needing it now. And when you feel ready, just get rid of the last part carefully and safely.
Thank you.
And then just really looking at the beautiful flame that is at the side of me here, that light, and just gently taking your hands very carefully over the flame and holding to the lankai and holding that space of sacral, the jaguar, where everything is transformed from the darkness to the light. Just breathing in that transformation there, that's there now. You can trust this. Thousands of years old, this ceremony. And then when you feel ready, again, just turning gently, safely to the flame, honoring this beautiful flame, bringing this blessing into the moon eye, the heart, where the unconditional love lies, where a yes to the cosmos lies, feeling that space of expansion and gratitude, And kindness to yourself, kindness to others. Breathing that all in. Feeling that place of peacefulness. Starting from within. And when you feel ready, just taking your hands to the flame again. Noticing this beautiful flame dancing in light. Taking the blessings and taking them to your third eye, your yan chai, and letting it be there, that all-seeing eye, connecting to the kawak, the seer's place, the inner vision, past illusions, past programming, allowing this new vision to be there, seeing with soft, soft, soft eyes of the heart, of all knowing. Just really feeling that settling there. And when you feel ready, just really coming back and placing your hands on your heart. Breathing deeply. This beautiful tradition that's alive with us today in 21st century living. Feeling such gratitude for it, that we can do this, that it works. It really does. And so just thanking all the people that brought this tradition for us and bowing to them if you feel inclined. Great big thank you.
Thank you. Gratitude to you, Shakura.
Thank you.
Thank you for such a beautiful fire ceremony. And let me conclude our session with a few words to you, to your inner child, and to you, adult you. May the song of your soul rise once more, and may your hands remember how to shape magic from air, and may the child within you become the artist again. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Beautiful.